Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. I am playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life and her 30 days of sketches for October again, and I am having so much fun just joining her as often as I can. Today is day 10 and I'm using this particular sketch. It is from Page Maps, and if you saw my video on day 4, you will know that I already did a page about cherry picking, but this is the companion page or the facing page to that page that I have already done. And so you can see there out of that cherry paper there was a small circle, and I just cut a large circle, and the small circle was used on the other page, and I'm using this large purple circle on the page today. So I am also using this same red paper that I used before. This is from Elle Studio. It's an old piece of paper I've had in my stash for ages, and I'm so glad to get it used up. And I'm going to use these 3 photos of my daughter and my grandson out cherry picking, and her husband took these photos, and she doesn't get a lot of photos, just the 2 of them together, unless I'm there or he's there, because obviously she is with him. She's not with a lot of other people because of, COVID. So anyway, it's just really fun to go ahead and use these 3 photos, and I wanted to put the one that has the larger image of her and him in it in the center to be more of the focal point. And I am going to go ahead and ink these papers up with the same ink that I used before. This is Catherine Pooler ink. I think it's Rocket Red and Grass Skirt. I could be wrong on the red name, but the green is definitely Grass Skirt. Actually, I guess I didn't use the green yet, but I'm going to be using the green. So I go ahead and adhere these down just lightly with my adhesive, and I'm going to take them off screen and do a little bit of stitching at the top of that banner, and I'm going to use a kind of, well, a green thread. It's kind of a limey green thread. And then I'm going to stitch another piece on down below. I've already added the stitching at the top there. I don't know if you can see it, but it is just going across the top of that red. And I originally was thinking if I followed the pattern on that green it would be wavy enough, but it wasn't wavy enough to my liking, so I decided to pull out my scallop punch, and this is like one of my favorite punches, this one and maybe the notebook paper punch. It is really hard to find a good scallop in this particular size, and this one is by X-Cut, which is a Do Crafts brand, and I just absolutely love it. It's not too small and it's not too big, so it's, I don't know, works for me, and I use it quite often. I am pulling in the same black and white polka dot washi tape that I used on the other layout, just to keep everything so that it matches and it provides continuity across both layouts, because they are both photos from the same particular day. You can see that I've done the stitching there. I did that off camera, and I'm just tying back the string, the leftover thread, so that it doesn't get pulled on in the back or it doesn't come unstitched. I am going to add this little piece that says snapshot details down at the bottom. It is going to remain there, but I will play with it a few times. And I'm going to add that cherry card up at the top. And I have half a mind to go and do something to that cherry card so that the cream color is not so cream, and it's just more white, because I don't use a lot of other cream on this page. Normally when I add cream color to something that has a lot of white, I add cream everywhere, or I add cream in multiple places so that it looks like it's supposed to be there. I treat it just as if it is another color on the layout. Just like the green, I'm adding green in multiple places. I would add cream in multiple places, but I didn't do that on this one. And like I said, I have half a mind to go and move it off the layout, or brighten it up using some white somehow, or maybe cut out the cherries and put them on a white background. I don't know. At this point right now, it still remains as it is. While I consider it, we will see what happens down the road. I'm going to go ahead and tuck in some little word phrases up at the top. One, it says, the one that has like the lime green chevron on it says "Bound for Adventure," and there is a little red phrase piece that I'm going to use that says, "You make me so very happy," and I really like that. That Life 101 is not going to stay there. I am going to add another embellishment cluster up in the upper right hand corner, and it's just going to be a small cluster, but I felt like it kind of needed something up there. I don't know, it just needed something small up there. So I'm just tucking in pieces where I feel like they're going to fit well. I do want to get that geotag on there somehow. I think I'm going to use the Life 101 down here, but it doesn't stay there either. And I do have some more little tiny phrase stickers in that yellowy green strip that you see to the right of my layout. One says Sunripe, one says Favorite, and one says Treat. I am going to pull those into this particular embellishment cluster up in the upper right and the one at the bottom. And that kind of just brings those colors into those areas, just like I've already got it on that chevron piece that says Bound for Adventure. So whatever I do in one area, I'm trying to do in all three areas so that all of the colors are represented. Now that the darker green color is going to be represented by the border strip in the below the photos, so I don't add anything that has more of that color. But up in that upper right hand corner where it says Life 101, that is definitely that kind of same green. And then the geotag is going to be up by the cherries, and so that brings that green in up there. So I feel like if you put the same colors in each of the areas, that creates a little bit of balance and continuity. And it doesn't have to be the same shape, it doesn't have to be the same type of embellishment. Like, you know, you could use enamel dots, or you could use brads, or you could use paper. It doesn't matter as long as the colors are represented. That's just my little trick for making sure that I have everything balanced. And I decided to go ahead and put that little piece up at the top. That is just a stamped image from, I have some Stamp Market label stamps, and so that was a leftover piece that I decided to go ahead and use, and that will give her a little bit of an area to write some notes from the day. My daughter does a lot of the journaling on my grandson's layouts, especially for things like this event. I was not there. If I happen to be at the event, or he happens to be with me that day, then I go ahead and write on it, but a lot of times I'm not. She just gives me the pictures and I scrapbook them, and then she goes back through and writes on them. Now I am going to go ahead and pop that Life 101 up onto some foam, and that is because the piece that says Family Activity is chipboard, and so it already has dimension, and to get it to lay over it, the Life 101 had to be popped up onto foam. And that little tiny green piece up there says Delicious, and I struggled to find a spot for it, so it fit really well in those little hanging banners up there. I went ahead and backed the circle part of this geotag with white cardstock because I didn't want the lines from the red to show through, and I didn't want the polka dots from the cherry piece of paper up there to show through either. Now that little piece I'm putting in right now is not going to stay there. It is going to move, and it is going to move over underneath where it says Family Activity, and it's going to say Favorite Treat. And the pieces down, actually, okay, it's going down at the bottom, and that says Sunripe. The pieces that I moved up to the top say Favorite Treat. So I will add some mirrored green enamel dots to this layout, and I think I do that off camera. So you can look for those in the close-ups. And then I am going to follow the same process I did on the other layout by using this cherry stencil and these little tiny ink blending brushes, and I am just going to give a halo of cherries around that circle and then up near the upper left hand corner embellishment area. And I just like the way that it looks. It's just a very simple detail, but it adds a lot of interest and a lot of dimension to the layout. And since it's on both layouts and they're going to be side by side, it works really well. And you can go back and check out the other video if you did not see it. It was day 4, and it has circular elements and these banner elements that have the fishtail in them. And so the pages, they go really well together, even though they're using 2 completely different sketches. So I think that's a lot of fun to do that. Sometimes your pages don't have to be a mirror of each other. They can be slightly different but have very similar elements that carry across on both pages, and I think that's a lot of fun, and it works really well when you have when you have too many photos to fit onto one page. So again, rather than doing a double page that's kind of like mirrored or that flows across both pages, you can do it this way as well, and I think it looks great in your album. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I am just about done here. The close-ups are going to be coming up really quickly, and don't forget to check out the other ladies that are playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life today. They are in the description box down below, and make sure you check out Christy's channel every day this month. She will have a new sketch that she's working with. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.